adversity in my country, South Africa, and in particular Limpopo province, which is the northern part, and which is dominantly rural, is perpetual inequality, poverty, and unemployment. And this translates to these areas of inequalities in the learning space as well. So you find that because we are based in the rural area, 80% and more of our population of students and young people come from the rural, poverty-stricken, marginalized communities. And as a result, they deal with issues of lack of access to learning resources, material, bandwidth, connections, road infrastructure, all sorts of challenges that affect their capacity to access learning material at a global scale. So the issues that compel us or that are part of our thriving is really to ensure that the young people realize that their reality require frugal innovation and they're supposed to adapt and be resilient and agile at the same time, falling in love with their identity, their stories, and making sure that they adopt a growth mindset. So we have seen through AIME that the kind of learning that AIME promotes embraces the other knowledge forms which traditionally is excluded. AIME has enabled us to rope in other ecosystems partner. It has enabled us to ensure that we integrate the issues of indigenous knowledge system and other forms of learning talents. And they can do attitude based on young people's realization that they have what it takes and that they can contribute in the disrupting or shifting the dominance of only one paradigm. And so through taking them on activities such as vision board and making sure that they are entrepreneurial and have interaction in a way that when you learn, you teach, and promoting peer mentorship, we've managed to ensure that the learners who were mentees at some point graduate and become mentors. And because we use the community-based model, once the young people in the university graduate, they're able to impact their communities. And so our ecosystem partners are deeply embedded in communal structures. So our priorities is in confidence building and making sure that there must be a way in which inequality is challenged and it's addressed at policy level. And therefore, as the leader of the ecosystem partnership, we promote that we also wear our advocacy cap and ensure that we name the inequalities, we challenge them, we negotiate and engage the policymakers and ensure that the issues like infrastructure, road infrastructure, for example, bandwidth and so forth, are understood from the point of view of the previously marginalized voices, like young people in the rural areas contributing to what equitable learning environments, sustainable learning environments should entail. So we think it's really time for us to be shifting towards that, because we now know that only cutting and paste on the basis of one lens of a dominant paradigm is not helping. It makes our young people to feel disconnected with their reality. It paralyzes them. And therefore, when they are involved as participatory action learners and lifelong learners that are also having capabilities to be change makers and contributors to their own development, there is no any other time than now, because in the absence of their voices and sharing their experiences, there are threats perpetuating the inequalities. If they're not going to be able to access internet, the e-learning and other forms to bring them in the global level, then it will continue to be the us and them, and the othering would be not sustainable in the future, because our aim is to groom a global citizen. We subscribe to the idea that it really takes a village to grow a child and to groom responsible citizens. And therefore, as the University of Venda, we wish to be part of the drivers, and we look up to our communities, our CBOs, and other ecosystem partners to ensure that there is that cross-pollination in the learning and in the grooming of not only academic content, but well-rounded responsible citizens of the world, of the now and of the future.